All right, this is one where Harry Potter says, "Enough, goddammit. Sick of this shit."
This looks action-packed, Pee-wee.
I think at this
does.
point we can all agree that this is Best Picture this year. I mean, we haven't actually
really?
seen it yet.
Can we?
We haven't actually seen it yet, but yeah, come on.
I don't know,
Look,
right?
yeah.
From that trailer, you might be right because I'm like, okay, it's one thing to show like a few action scenes, but it must have been about 1,300, all from different points of the story.
Well, they took all the action scenes from part one and took them out and put them in this one. So
Because all I was thinking was like, where was all this shit during fucking Harry Potter and the deathly fucking boring camping trip from the last movie I had to sit through?
They were
I'm
saving
like,
up for this one, Cole.
yeah,
I hope
This
so
is when
because
it's
I'm still one of those guys. I'm still one of those robots who will say, "Look, magic is stupid." All right.
You know what?
No, you're not.
Yes,
you know
I
you
am.
are not. As
You
many
love
monsters.
magic.
Yeah, aliens and monsters.
Mr.
And
Green Lantern. What do you think that's all based on?
I believe in all that other shit except magic. I'm sorry, magic is just dumb. All right, fucking somebody
The
trying to
fucking force is
thread
magic.
me with a big pointy
you
hat.
can-
I'm sorry, abracadabra, fucking peanut
Oh,
butter
you
jelly
just hate the-
sandwiches
you just hate-
that never strikes fear in my heart.
You don't hate magic. You just hate the clothing choices. That's
Yeah.
all.
That too.
You can sit here and posture for the microphone all you want, but as we were watching that trailer, I saw your eyes gleaming green.
He was
I saw,
tearing
I
up.
saw those ones and zeros flashing back and forth.
I was trying to figure out
like a pinball machine over there.
I was trying to figure out what was going on through that fucking Six Flags ride. I just saw
It's funny,
the
like every
screen,
5 seconds, mix into the sound mix with someone going.
a huge fire explosion. Dragons are fucking all of a sudden
Yeah,
popping,
sit up
out
here
of, the,
talking about you
popping
don't
out of the woodworks.
don't like magic. You thought Thor was the best piece of Shakespeare you ever seen in your
It
life.
was.
You love Star Wars.
He's throwing a hammer. What's so hard about that?
You love
That's no
Star
magic.
Wars. What do you think the Force is? That shit is magic. It's
That's not
science.
magic. That's badass,
It's not
dude.
science. What is it?
He's right. You know what? You like magic. You just don't like the hats. That's
yeah,
it.
there you go. And the little pointy sticks.
He doesn't like robes,
and
hats.
that twig they fight with. Yeah.
You know what? I gotta.
You never last at the Playboy Man.
Hey man, I do understand what you're talking about because this series could have been ended about 5 movies ago if Harry Potter had a gun.
I know. And I'm glad you said that because honestly, every time I see the main villain, what's his name, Voldemort?
Voldemort.
Yeah. Every time I see him, he does that one thing that I hate about villains where they tell the hero like, "Oh, Harry Potter." You could have pulled out a gun with that, as soon as Harry's on. As soon as he says Harry,
It would have
he could
been-
have pulled out a fucking Uzi 9mm and shot the guy down.
A magic gun.
Get out of here.
You know what? If you're right about that,
I said the same thing about Star Wars.
man.
What?
Yep.
At least the stormtroopers are shooting. all right?
Lightsabers.
And shooting at what?
I know, but at least
100
they are
guys who can't
shooting.
hit
A
one
lightsaber
person.
is no match for a good blaster.
I would love to see a fight between stormtroopers and the troops from Cobra and let them fire on each other. And not one person.
Nobody
get
would die.
Nobody would.
But it would look badass though. It would look
Everything
badass,
around
though.
them would be
I don't know,
demolished.
at the end of it, everybody just stopped and look at each other. What the fuck? We still here? You know what? I got
Seriously,
Yeah,
right? It's
hey.
like the kid who comes out of the closet in Pulp Fiction. There's just all of them.
yeah, one of them goddamn stormtroopers with God stop them bullets right there. No, God stop them lasers.
I want you to acknowledge that that was a miracle.
God damn it. 2 things though. For one, first of all, if Hogwarts had been an inner city school, that shit would never have gone on. Those kids would have like did a drive by on their broomsticks. Hey, Voldemort! He's getting in his car. What? Fuck you, bitch. Second of all, fuck Star Wars because this is the new Star Wars right here. Man.
Get out of here.
No.
Get outta here with
Look,
that.
George Lucas had goddamn stuff. As far as
If
after,
he had any integrity, any
Yeah.
sense.
after Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, he had 4 of the movies to get his shit right. He couldn't do it.
No, he fucked up with those, but I
Now
mean,
we-
I still think those first 3 Star Wars movies
Two and a half.
still hold
two
up.
and a
No,
half.
no, no.
half, yes.
Hey, Return of the Jedi was awesome. Come on, man.
2.5.
Hey, co-host, I'm with you. I still like Return of the
I
Jedi.
still do too, but
But
still,
yeah.
let's be.
But you know what? I could see.
There's a lot fucked up with Return
But come
of the
on.
Jedi.
I mean, at least with that original trilogy, though, I mean, I honestly still don't think that Harry Potter can stand up to those first 3
You can't
movies.
let it go, can you?
I know. Yeah, hey, I love the
Yeah.
third. I love the third Harry Potter movie, but because for some reason that movie, I really got in those characters for the first time.
Yeah.
But it seems like every movie after that, it's like I'm still trying to hold on to something here But with each movie, I find myself like slipping. It's like all the directors put like fucking some kind of jelly on the film I can't grab on. I can't identify anymore. I'm still trying because I know it's cool and I'm supposed to like it, but I can't. I'm trying to love it because everyone else loves it.
Will
and I
you
know I
stop
should too.
sliding up and down on the greasy Harry Potter films? It's
I know.
grossing me out.
Would you stop sliding up and down Cyrus right now?
It's dry humping me over
I know.
here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, man.
I'm just trying to be
Jesus
cool.
Christ. That
Get
ain't
off
jelly.
my leg.
That ain't just KY he put all over you.
Now you know there's gonna be something.
I hope it's
we're
KY.
gonna like stop by the co-host's home and look, peek through his window, just like to tap to see if he's there. He's gonna be wearing a black robe and a Severus Snape wig with a ruler pointing at things, going abracadabra.
Patronum.
Peanut butter,
Petroleum.
peanut butter jelly sandwich.
I love peanut butter jelly sandwiches.
Oxio hypocrisy.
No, but you know,
Fuck Cyrus is old.
Hey,
but you know, with this series,
leave my O alone.
but with this series, though, I mean, honestly, I really try. I mean, I mean, you know, I got a lot of shit from my last review for a good reason because I know that there's a lot of people really passionate about this series and about what it is and what it represents to them. And you know what? It's hard. Usually with that, I'm like, you know, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what they like. It's what I like. But I'm still trying to find what it is that is really super appealing about this story.
You
these
should look
characters.
online. There's a billion websites that go point by point all the things that are the same in Star Wars and Harry Potter, and maybe that will explain it to you.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. maybe they'll dumb it down for me. Maybe that's what I need.
There's something like 50 things that are like major plot elements and story elements. You're like, wow, they really are exactly the
Yeah,
same.
you know
in
what?
so
And I'll
many
be
ways.
fair here. Listen, I said it. I think that this is better than what they've ever done with Star Wars as far as storytelling and being able to carry that through fucking 9 movies.
Yeah,
now?
certainly statistically speaking alone,
Yeah.
as far as sheer number of
8
films
movies,
of
but-
quality.
And that's what I'm going by. But let's look at this another way. Harry Potter had the advantage of being written as novels first, and then the movies were taken from that. But I don't know. I can tell you why, man. Listen, I understand why these films have probably not been as interesting to you because for myself, after seeing the third film, The Prisoner of Azkaban, whatever. I wanted another film like that. I wanted
Right.
that film again, and I finally had to let go and realize, you know, I'm not going to get that same movie. It's not telling the same kind of story, and you know, and it's a different director. David Yates is the guy who directed the last 3 Harry Potter movies, and he's directing this one now. Is he the strongest director out the series? I would say he's probably the second strongest.
He's the most consistent.
Yeah, and
Right.
the most
What
consistent.
he's done that Cuarón didn't do. I mean, Cuarón is very talented.
Yeah, what's his
great
full name?
Alphonse.
Alphonse. Yeah,
Alfonso,
Cuarón.
yeah.
who's very talented. He was able to take this and go like, okay, this is what's great about this book, but let me make it into a great movie that I know I can do.
Yeah.
And David Yates has come in to go more like, well, that's great, but I want to make it more like the books. And that's probably the biggest difference between the two.
Can I point out as well that Cuarón had the advantage of filming the last book that wasn't like a phone book sized? I mean, because like it was the last book that was a small sized book. It was relatively
Yeah, that's
like
true.
contained, and it was a very simple story, all things considered. It was also the first real seriously dark turning point in the story of Harry Potter, where it was clear this was not all going to be happiness and roses at the end of it.
And I also remember at the time I was reading the books, like the first 3, they have a definite beginning, middle, and end. Like it ends like there could never be another book, but hey, that was a good one.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the 4th one that I got to the end and was like, oh shit, this is a cliffhanger. I have to wait till the next book to find out what
Cuarón
happens.
is where it's like, okay, now we're going from like where she was still writing them just for kids with the first 3 in
Yeah.
a lot of ways. And Cuarón is where she was like, wow, this has a shit ton of adult fans, so I'm going to start writing epic fantasy.
Yeah.
And that's a lot harder to make into films. And I thought that in the 4th film, it showed that they didn't really know completely what to do with that yet.
Yeah.
It's still, I think, a good film.
Yeah, I
it's
do
not
too.
as good as 3, but it's has problems keeping up with all the events of the story. But I thought from 5 on, the series has just gotten better.
Let me ask you something. I'm glad you brought that up because I was curious. I wondered all the time, like, did these start out as children's books? That's what I love about this series is that, I mean, the books, from what I understand, I've never read any of the books. Movies come out too fast. Okay, I can't read, but you know, I
can't read.
Yeah, sorry, but
This turns into a whole thing. So this-
An intervention.
you thought this was a review. It's a Lifetime movie.
I know Corey can't read a Spill Lifetime movie, but you know, from what I understand, the books did start out kind of innocent, sort of as children's book that can be enjoyed by adults. And then as they went on, they progressed into more adult fare to where at the end, it really was a book for all ages, leaning towards more adults. And the movies are the same way. And that's what I love about this series is that it started out as Christopher Columbus's first film, kind of a children's family film.
Totally.
And now these are like PG-13, violent, scary films.
Yeah,
And
they evolved the same way the books did. They were darker and for older kids.
Which
and,
as the kids, the characters got older, they became darker.
And that's another thing. They've kept the same characters except, when one person died, and that was
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
Richard Harris.
Richard Harris. When he
Spoiler.
was-
Which honestly, which
come on,
which honestly, I thought that should have had a bigger impact than it did when I saw it because I didn't think it was all that
with
tragic.
the events,
at
well,
all.
part of the reason it's not.
I was talking about the actor dying, not the
not the
characters.
character.
Yeah,
Part of the reason-
Dumbledore had to be
I'm talking-
replaced
Part of
by
the
another
reason
actor.
why in a previous movie it wasn't is because they have not literally had a chance to fucking deal with it. They've been on the run constantly
Yeah.
since it happened, and there are points in at least in the book in the second half of the seventh book
the
where
question
you
I
really
want-
do get to have the import of what that meant and because it's a mystery. That's one of the big mystery. What happened when that happened? What the fuck was that?
Well, my question to you is like anybody is did J.K. Rowling start? Did she know that they was going to get this dark, or was that her intention, or
I
did
have
they?
no idea.
Yeah, you have to ask her.
You know, the thing is,
Okay,
is
let me
like,
call
a
her real
lot of
quick.
writers like to play it off like they knew what they were
Find
doing
that
the whole
number.
Yeah, all the
time.
time.
And I never know whether or not to believe that.
What happened?
I stopped
A
believing
lot of
it.
writers like to play it off like they've always known like what was going to happen.
I don't buy that either.
Yeah,
What-
yeah.
what
It's
I've heard
like
from-
whenever it's like, well, I always wrote this to be a trilogy. It's just like, shut up. No, you didn't.
No, yeah, no, you
It's
didn't.
like, really? That's why Luke makes out with his sister in the
Yeah.
first movie. That's how you planned on this being a trilogy. God damn it, man. Come on.
But that's kind of hot though.
Indeed, it is.
Well, yeah, well, that's true. I mean, Tatooine is sort of like the Tennessee of
It
the
is.
galaxy.
totally need to do a mashup.
Believability to the
Need to do a
story.
mashup of A New Hope
Yeah.
and Taboo.
I never thought that chick when she was homeless that she had this shit all. Well, I don't know if she was broke as hell, but I never thought she had all this shit planned.
She
I
was
think-
next to homeless. She was
Yeah.
she was like sleeping on relatives' couches and shit when she was writing these.
Yeah,
things.
but in Britain, a lot of people do that. That ain't no.
You might as well be homeless. Have you seen the size of those places?
She was on a dole. She was taken care of.
She was just writing books and shit when she was on couches. That's all.
You know, being on the dole doesn't mean they give them pineapple every day, right?
They're just juice boxes.
Doesn't mean they don't either.
But I like that. Every time I think of it, I can't help but stare as like the fucking what we saw a robot chicken where she was living in alleys and digging out trash cans.
Yeah, I love that story. Like, yeah, I was almost homeless. Like, you don't really want us to look that up, do you? No,
Yeah.
no. Just take my word for it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I want to be out there like jumping trains and shit. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Eating,
scrappy dog.
eating sardines while she's writing these books.
A gingham handkerchief on the back of
On the
his
back,
head.
yeah, hey, yeah. Bandana.
I had to blow Nicholas Sparks just to get a break.
Nobody knows the troubles
Well, I've seen. I wrote a good Negro's tale called Harry Potter and the
Old man Dumbledore.
Harry Potter and the Underground Railroad.
Isn't that song how dry I am in one of the books? How dry I am.
But man,
While they're drinking that butterbeer shit.
I gotta tell you, I'm like you, man. These movies come out so fast. Well, I'm amazed about. They come out so fast that I can hardly remember what happened in the last movie before I'm thinking about the next one. But all I know is one thing I retain is that I've enjoyed every one of these movies. Different, varying degrees of entertainment, but I've at least admired every one of these films. And this right here, this is one of those trailers where I didn't read the books, so maybe that speaks well of what they've done with these films. I'm able to like capture the emotion of this last trailer. I'm like almost tearing up. I'm like, shit, it's over.
Yeah.
And it's over in a big ass way.
Hell yeah.
It's
It's
over
going
for
out
now.
with a bang.
Because like, what's her face, the writer Rowling was saying when it's over. Yeah, I feel like I've told these characters stories, and so let's end it gracefully. And like, she put out another thing, and she started talking about writing some other thing that she was going to do, not with Potter. And no one really gave a shit. And now she said, "Well, I didn't mean I would never write Potter again. All I'm saying is I expect more Potter."
When I see it's over, all I'm like, thank you. So I don't have to put up with all the bullshit I got to hear every time I review one of these movies. Because like I said, I'm going to stick strong to my case. I'm waiting like for an emotional connection with these characters because sometimes I think they're just kind of going through the paces of what this book is. And I know everyone's screaming at me, "You got to read the book to understand, dumbass." I'm like, no, it's a film. I shouldn't have to read.
You're right.
Shit.
You're right in that sense.
You're right
You
in that
absolutely
sentiment.
should not have to read a book to understand a film.
I agree with you on that.
I mean, a film shouldn't be an accompanying piece to. So, like we had the comic books of the records that go, turn the page.
Exactly.
Shit
I'm
shouldn't be like that.
not that invested. But the
Right.
thing is,
There's some
like,
people out there, records?
What the fuck is a record?
but the thing is, I've always wanted, like, I guess that sense that I had with the third movie, where these characters were friends, and there was always some kind of emotional resonance going on when something bad happened. Which I really think that this David Yates guy, I think there's times when he completely drops the ball on that. For me at least, to where I'm wanting it to get emotional. And the best example I can give of that is the return of that Dobby character that fucking died out of the blue, and I'm like, really? I haven't seen this character in I don't know how many of these movies that you've been showing me, and I'm supposed to like tear up at this moment with a guy you just kind of like threw away.
I'll agree with you on that. I thought that bit was a bit rushed, so that when he does die, it should have had more emotional impact, and it doesn't.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but coming from someone who's read the books like 3 times, it does have emotional impact for me. You're right. As a film alone, it shouldn't be that way, but for a viewer of the books, these things are really resonant. I walk out every single one of these movies going, wow, that was like, he almost got what I was picturing in my head when he does these films. I think one of the big keys is that they're real smart with who they get to do the special effects and who they get to do the cinematography. Because even the Christopher Columbus films have gorgeous cinematography at points. You're like, wow, the set design, the costumes, there's so much money and care put into it. And I think it's Weta, isn't it? Who does like the
I don't know.
I think it's ILM still.
I thought it was. I thought it was Weta at this point.
No,
but I don't know for sure. But either way,
Weta, they could just use leftover Lord of the Rings footage because it's the same monsters.
Right.
in both
Pretty much,
of them.
yeah.
there's a lot of care put into this, and each film I'm always wowed, and especially with the short amount of time they put them out in, like you were saying, I'm always
Hey,
wowed by
they're
the
on
quality
the
of
clock
the
if they want to
effects.
keep using those same kid actors.
Right.
Yeah,
They
that's
get
true,
older.
yeah.
You can't have a 45-year-old Harry Potter. Having him 30 years old right now is bad enough.
Regardless of the emotional resonance, I mean, to stuff like that, and you're right, that's rushed along. I thought with the main characters, it's there in the movies regardless. At least it seems to be for some people I know, other who haven't read the books and enjoy the movies. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I can't argue from your point of view.
Well,
but
I will-
It makes me
yeah.
sad because I get great pleasure out of every last one of these.
Well, as somebody who hasn't read the books either, I will like acknowledge your criticism in some points to where in the last movie I had some complaints too. I mean, I did feel like it was too slow. I thought like, damn, they spent a lot of time in the woods, and I was when you said it would feel like a camper trip, I was like, well, that's funny. I feel the same way. I also, again, not knowing if it's in the books, I always hate when you have villains that take over any kind of establishment, country, government, power, whatever. They all of a sudden have to start wearing black leather and walking around like Nazis. I mean, I was like, come on, the Nazi analogy, we've used that enough in a lot of things. And
well, they're not going to wear pink. Come on. I mean, what do you
Well,
even
let's
have them
try,
wear?
you know?
Think about it. If you took over something, wouldn't you want to dress like the most badass that you could?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
black
like
is-
you
I
think
dress
about
up like Aquaman if I
Black
could.
is badass.
Think about it. In the Matrix, they get to go into the Matrix and wear whatever they want. What they choose? Black leather.
Yeah, seriously, man. Hell, half the time when we go out to dinner with our friends and they're okay, everybody dress up. Everyone
That's
is wearing
cool.
black.
Black- like black
Cyrus
leather.
is
I
always
mean-
the one wearing that black long leather jacket. Dude, we're going to
too far with the red armband.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you.
We're going to Taco Bell, dude.
Yeah, that swastika on the back of your jacket, that's
Yeah,
probably
that's not
It's not a
I
swastika.
didn't mean to
That's
tell
a
you
Native
that.
American symbol. That's what that is.
you keep it
It's
old school.
backwards. It's a swastika.
Okay,
Yeah.
you tell the Jews there. But I still feel like it's too much of a Gestapo type motif, and I was like, maybe it's in the book, but I always felt like you could be a little
That's
more
actually
creative.
not.
Is it not? Okay, well then I really don't like that. Then, and the other thing is, I felt like, I was like, man, out of all the stuff that I hear that was going to go into this story, David Yates acknowledged that he took it out to like put it in the last film. And I don't know. We'll see if it works, because being that was kind of half of a story, I did feel some emotional resonance too at the end. I was like, okay, one of the things they did with this movie, they ended it with, all right, I feel like the stakes are high. now, and I'm ready to see what's going to happen in the next movie. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is one of my most highly anticipated movies of the summer here, and I can't
And
I
it's
can't wait
best
to see
picture, pretty much, definitely for sure.
What is with you in this being best picture, man?
What they did it for Return of the King? Come on, that was like the one they gave for all. Okay, we admit this is.
I know this is a preview, but can we
Peter
just go ahead and
Jackson
say it's
directed
better
that.
than Sex for You?
We'll just say it's
What
better
else
than
you- What
sex.
else you gonna give the best picture? Transformers?
Yeah, right.
We know some people on the site that would. Out of that shitstorm we got.
You know, I honestly, I can say this. I am hoping that this movie really fucking blows me away, so I can eat my words, because I want to. I want to experience that joy that everyone gets out of watching these goddamn movies. And if I don't, I'm gonna let you know. I'm sorry, it doesn't work for me. all right?
Tasty.
No, we know that.
tasty
Yeah.
Oh,
words.
yeah, no, we know. And believe me, everybody else on the site will let us know too.
Yeah, I can't wait.